How's it hanging, YouTube? Peter here, your Ginger Geordie Geek. Welcome back to the channel for another episode of This Is My. If you've not seen this show before, this is the show where we meet a member of the comic or toy community. We'll have a bit of a chat about their likes and dislikes. We'll see some of the collection and we'll learn a little bit more about them. Now, tonight's a bit special because we've got a published author. We've got Rich coming on, who's going to talk to us all about his superb comic book series, Digital. So, without further ado, welcome tonight, Rich.
Hey!
Hello.
How's it going?
Are you, sir?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you, not too bad. Thanks for having me. I was going to say, like, you called me special, and I was like, oh, weird. I was going to come on and say, long-time listener, first-time caller sort of thing.
Well, I mean, yeah, in reality, I've kind of known you on the periphery for a good few years now, since, well, on the Facebook pages and things, and then obviously you started Digital, which we're going to get to, but I'm going to, I'll start by kissing your backside a bit, Rich. Digital is phenomenal. I'm always very humble and jealous of people who've actually got off the backsides and produced their own comics, because it's what a lot of us want to do, so massive hats off to you for all of your efforts with that. We're going to talk Digital as we go through the show, and we've got some comics to give away as well. But yeah, just to start off to say, I'm up to speed. I'm up to issue 4. I'm a huge fan. Can't wait to see where we'll go next with issue 5. But yeah.
But I tell you what, it's funny, Pete, actually, because like we said just before, known each other for on and off for a few years now. But when I first got into the Facebook groups, I was always really intimidated by you. Like, I think I think it was when you must have just come sort of back into the hobby, and I saw you buying some nice books like regularly, and on your Facebook profile you're in that suit, aren't you?
Yeah. That's when I lost weight. I've put it all back on now, but yeah.
You look like this real authoritarian character and buying all these fancy books. I'm like, he's not someone to mess around with. And I don't know if you remember, I told you an Avengers 10, the first Rogue, and I remember you asked me a few questions if it was all right, and I was like, I need to package this one so it's just flawless sort of thing. I don't want it to go wrong.
Yeah, you don't want an unboxing where I'm naming and shaming. Yeah. Good stuff, mate. Good. Right, well, tonight Rich is dead relaxed. We're going to learn a little bit more about you, learn lots about Digital, I hope, and show off some of your collectibles. Before we do that, just want to quickly jump into the chat and see who we've got. We've got good old StreamYard. Thank you for joining. We've got my pal Fuzzy. Always nice to see you, Fuzzy. Greetings and salutations, internet peeps. And we've got Jack. Nice to see you, Jack. I hope you are well. We've got Noble Young. Always nice to see you, my friend. And we've got Terry the Dead Man. Always nice to see you as well, Terry. We have got Sean Hogan. Always nice to see you, Sean. Hope you are well. Fuzzy's I don't know if you know Fuzzy. Fuzzy is what am I saying? Nobody knows Fuzzy. He's an enigma. He appears on these streams, but nobody's ever met the man in real life. But he where did it all go wrong? I presume you're talking about me, Fuzzy. We have got Efren, my pal from San Diego. Nice to see you. I did get a haircut, Efren. I did get a haircut. Thank you. Yeah, nice to see you, Efren. Hope you're well as well, my friend. Okay, Rich. So, let's crack straight on. This is me. If anyone wants to get in touch, that's all my different bits and bobs. We're here tonight to talk to Rich about his collecting habits and also Digital. But we're going to start you off, Rich, with a nice, easy question. I want to know a little bit about your backstory. And what I mean by that is I want to know what got you into comic book reading initially, and then what made you think of publishing your own comic book.
Yeah, cool. What kind of weird? Like, I feel kind of part of the comic book community in the UK. It's a really great place to be. Everyone's helping people out, but in truth, I'm a bit of a fraud. I'm quite new to comic books. I hear about, This Is My. I listen to you guys coming on, and so when I was like 4, and I've been reading this, that, and the other. Comic books has always been something I've been interested in, but never didn't get into until I was 32, I think.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
It's roughly 10 years sort of thing. Yeah. And it's something I've always wanted to get into. My parents owned a shop, but they never had comic books in it. And I lived in a little town on the border of like Midlands and North Wales, and like nothing was there.
Yeah.
So I just never had any exposure to it, but I loved like Saturday morning cartoons. That's how I kind of knew that it would be something for me. Like Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. I don't know if you ever used to watch that.
Yeah. Iceman and
Transformers.
Firestar.
Oh yeah. Transformers, He-Man, all these sorts of things. Like everything that kind of I think most of us really love. I love, but just didn't have that kind of comic book collection at that time. And it's something I have tried a few times, especially like when movies came out. Like I remember when X-Men came out, I went into a Forbidden Planet in Southampton where I was living at the time and said, "Oh, I want to start collecting. What should I jump into?" And a guy gave me some Deadpool comics, and I just didn't get it. It wasn't the X-Men. I just watched them on the screen sort of thing. I'd watched this sarcastic idiot, like ultra violent sort of thing. It's like, oh, this isn't what I'm after. And I've read stuff like Watchmen and Sandman throughout the years and really enjoyed them. I just never went that step further. And the MCU started, and I'm like, come on, this is just thinking to myself, I'm a bit belligerent when it comes to anything that I know I should like. It's like coffee. I didn't start drinking coffee till I was 32, but I knew I loved the smell of it. And now I have 2 or 3 cups in the morning before I get to do anything. And I was working with a guy called Dan, and he was a big comic book fan. I said, look, I just want to read something. What do I jump onto? And the 2 big things that he was reading were Jonathan Hickman's Avengers, the time jumping one.
Yeah.
And he said, there's a new Spider-Man series coming out called Edge Spider-Verse.
So
might be a good place to jump on. I'm like, wow, I used to love Spider-Man as a kid.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do it. And I went full in, and I went to a shop in Leeds called OK Comics.
Yeah,
and picked up Edge of Spider-Verse #1 off the shelf. Read that, and then that was it. It was just it's such a rabbit hole, isn't it? You pick up one thing, and all of a sudden, I don't read anything like what I first started reading. It's completely diversified, but yeah.
I mean, that's an interesting point, because a lot of we'll talk about, you start off in the mainstream Marvel, the cartoons and comics that you probably recognise, but then indie seems to be where my passions lie now. And what about digital then? So you were reading comics for a while, and then what made you think of jumping into writing your own book?
Again, it's another thing that I thought I would like to do. So I think around my mid-20s, I used to live with a guy who was into comic books at the time, and we talked about it. And we worked together, and we talked about it there. We talked about it. We lived together as well, so we talked about it at home. And we talked about it. We got an artist involved. And we never wrote a thing down. Right? We must have spent months talking about all these ideas, and we never did anything. So it just kind of went by the wayside. And is what it is, Yeah. And then I think mid-30s, after I started reading again, at least getting into it, I was like, maybe I could do this. I could write my own one. And I got this idea, and I worked with this guy and kind of bounced a few ideas around. We did put pen to paper, maybe just 1 or 2 pages, but it did. But we were just doing it on a lunch, like half an hour on a lunchtime sort of thing, and we had no momentum to it, and so it kind of went by the wayside. And then it must have been about 3 years ago. Zach, who's the co-writer on digital, he was one of the admins on Friendly Neighborhood comic, the group that I run.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm going to write a graphic novel. And he's a lot younger than me. And I was like, you should do it. Just do it. Because I didn't. And I cursed myself for not doing it. Yeah. I had that chance. I had the ideas, and I just didn't push it further forward. And he's like, oh, yeah, cool, I'll do it. And then so about 6 to 8 weeks later, I'm like, how's it going? And he goes, I haven't done anything. I'm like, oh, okay, well, okay, cool. You should. And I kind of went through it again. You're a bit younger. You have the opportunity and get on and do it. And I left him to it, and then sort of 6 to 8 weeks later, still haven't done anything. I was like, come on, I want you to do it. I've got a good feeling you can do something. And we do a Secret Santa every Christmas for the Friendly Neighborhood. And I even bought him Alan Moore's Guide to Writing Comic Books.
Right. Yeah.
And then about a week or so after Christmas, or we'd met up after Christmas, and he's like, do you want to do it with me? And I was like, yeah, I do. And like you say, there can't be anyone in the community who's never thought, I'd love to give that a go.
Yeah, give it a shot.
And this was the thing. It's like I've been in a band for years, and that kind of fell by the wayside. And I was kind of like, I needed a creative outlet, and this is what we did. And we we had about 6 to 8 weeks of like 3-hour phone calls every week, sort of thing, just kind of planning and mapping and just kind of like what are we doing? Why are we doing it?
Yeah.
Who do you want that person to be? Where do you want them to go? And then it's like, we probably got an idea here. Like,
Yeah.
and it felt, it wasn't like before where I talked about it. It's like, this could work. We just need to get other people in to help us do it, because we couldn't draw, not at least the level that you want it to be.
Yeah.
And so that's when it all just started. It's like, right, we're doing this now, and it's going to happen until at least we've done one issue. And if I never do anything after one issue, that's it. I can say I've done it.
Yeah, and then the story goes, you know, you're up to issue 5 now, aren't you? And we're gonna touch on that in a little bit, but yeah, it's superb work. Just gonna quickly jump back into the chat, Rich. We've got Andy from Perpetual Comics. Always nice to see you, Andy. Yes, I'm looking forward to the weekend. Thought bubble haircut, indeed, Andy, indeed. I need to look sharp. Yeah, gonna be fun. Fuzzy's saying we're all frauds here, Rich, so you're safe. Don't worry about that. And Jack is saying there's hardly anything in Wales still, comic book wise. Fuzzy's saying he's never bought a single comic in a brick and mortar shop. Wow, Fuzzy. Need to get out more, mate. I don't know. See, I don't even know where Fuzzy lives. Well, I don't even know. Yeah, he could be anyway. Dead Man is just saying Fuzzy got first issue of Blood Commandment. It's superb, absolutely brilliant comic.
Fancy that, yeah. I've got it on my poll.
Very, very cool. Very good story. Andy, I've wrote the first 3 pages of a comic idea I've had for years. I really enjoyed the process. I might even start to take it seriously. Definitely, Andy, get on that, mate. Something I've always wanted to do, and like you said, Rich, I've had ideas knocking around in my head for years. But you know, it's just putting pen to paper. You've got to make that first step, I think, haven't you?
Yeah, that's all it is, mate. It's just getting on and doing it.
Yeah. Jack saying that Fuzzy probably lives next door to us. You might be right. Yeah. Okay then. Right then. So we've mentioned digital. Tell the people a little bit about. Just don't spoil it, but tell roughly what it's about, Rich.
Yeah. Like you say, being a first-time writer, I wanted to have something which was familiar to people. It's quite. I didn't want to come up with like the most wacky, crazy out there idea. I wanted something that fit in a bit of a wheelhouse, but make it mine, or make it, you know, our creative team's its own sort of beast. But yeah, it's set against this kind of, and this is weird as well, because when we first started writing it, it was all about science future. You know, stuff's going to be down the line. We never have to worry about it. So it's all about an AI uprising, right? Yeah. And AI is everywhere, isn't it now? But like, as each issue comes out, I'm like, oh no, this is probably going to happen. I'm just writing the future. But yeah, the AI kind of became self-aware, took over the world, got rid of humanity, enslaved what was left, and basically they're hunting down the last 3 survivors. And the last 3 survivors manage to find the ship. They jump on it, and what they hope will take them away from the people chasing them accidentally takes them into space. So we're stuck with 3 strangers, never met before, stuck in a ship in the middle, like away from Earth. They know that if they go back to Earth, that's it. They're probably dead. Yeah. What they've got to find out is a way forward, and that's where it starts.
Yeah, what a start to a story. You know, like I said, I'm up to issue 4. It is absolutely stunning. So with that in mind, I just want to quickly mention this, and we're going to mention this a few times to give people a bit of a chance as we go through the show. Rich has currently got a Kickstart for issue 5, and we're going to give you details of that a little bit later on. Just going to show off what I think is the best cover you've done so far, which is this bad boy. Love this. This is the metal cover actually for issue 4 of digital. I've done a video recently where I've unboxed this. So what I want people to do over the course of the next few weeks is go to that video and put in #digital as it's on the bottom of the screen there. And in a couple of weeks' time, what we'll do is we'll do a giveaway, and I'm going to give away issues 1, 2. They're all signed by Rich as well. 3 and 4. So it'll get you up to date, ready for the issue 5, which you can go and get online. But I'll give away that set. So we'll mention it again later on. So you need to find that video and stick digital in the comments. What I'm also going to do I
That
got the
number one's
retailer
pretty
pack.
rare, by the way.
Which one, sorry?
That number one's quite rare, actually. I think
Yeah.
we made like 40 odd copies of that. So
Yeah, it's nice as well. It's a nice cover. I also got a pack of the retailer pack, so I think I've got 4 or 5 copies of digital issue 4. They'll go in my giveaway box, so we'll give those away randomly on my Saturday comic show. So please do go to that video and hit hashtag digital over the next few weeks, and we'll do a bit of a giveaway on that one. Okay, Rich. So moving on. I wanna learn a little bit more about you. I want to know who you are and what makes you tick. So this is always my favourite question. What is your favourite film? If you're going to spend a night watching a good movie, what's your go-to movie?
it's The Rock. Nicolas
Rock.
Cage.
Nick
John
Cage.
Connor.
Oh, you say Nick Cage. I'm with you.
Love it. Do you know what? I've got a degree in film.
Right.
And I've seen all these art house movies, like French New Wave and Japanese cinema, and I just love The Rock. It's just not mindless, but it's just Nick Cage doing perfect Nick Cage. 1996, he was at his prime for me. Like, this was kind of like just about the right side of ridiculous, not making shitty movies, but the time that sort of Face Off was coming out, that sort of time as well.
Whoa. Nick Cage has not made any shit. They're all their own masterpieces in their own right, surely.
Yes. Yes.
I did struggle with Pig. I'm going to be honest. I struggled with Pig. Yeah, that was a weird one.
But yeah, I mean, I just, it's such a great but weird chemistry. Like the fact that you've got, James Bond, Sean Connery, and this way over the top, always overacting, but in the best possible way. Explosion, Michael Bay explosions set on Alcatraz, and it's just ridiculous. And I love it. It's just get into that kind of like wheelhouse of just sit back, enjoy, and just be entertained. And it just does what I want a movie to do for me. I just want to be entertained and enjoy it. Like, I went to university, this film degree, and I stopped enjoying movies because I was pulling them apart and thinking, oh, well, I know why you've done that, and I know what that means, all the subtext. And I've had to forget my degree to enjoy films again. So it's great again now. I love it. But
that's what cinema should be. It should just be something you can switch your. If I've got to think too hard about films, I'm not enjoying myself. I just want to go and be entertained. And Nick Cage, he's one of my favorite actors. Have you seen? What do you call it? The Enormous Weight of Unbearable Talent.
No, that's with the guy from Mandalorian.
Yeah, Mandalorian. It's Nick Cage at his finest. Just mad. He's playing himself. Do you know what I mean? He's playing Nick Cage. Yeah, well worth a watch. Lots of people in the comments saying that this is a great choice. Fuzzy, Ed Harris. I forgot Ed Harris was in it. Yeah, he's phenomenal in it. So good. His big speech and the motives given. I need to go back and rewatch. It's a long time since I've seen it, to be honest.
It stands up pretty well as well. You know how like a lot of movies from the 90s kind of just, but it's so good.
It stands the test of time. And Jack saying that Ed Harris is a goat bad guy every film he's in. Very cool. Now, here's a quick question from Fuzzy before we move on. How far into the process did you land on the name, and were there any other names that got scrapped? It's a good question, Fuzzy.
It's a really good question. It took a long time. It was one of the last things that sort of fell into place. Yeah. So at the heart of digital is these it's about decisions and how things aren't just yes or no. Yeah. From a robotic and AI sort of way, there is a yes and there is a no. And that what makes you human is that bit in the middle. Yeah. And the idea of kind of like the digital uprising, the AI uprising, and the fact that that is binary is kind of a bit ironic in the sort of the name that it comes from. Yeah. But yeah, it just kind of, Zach sort of said, I've got it, what about this? And it was like, that's it, that's the one. But it took a long time and a lot of crap as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet. I mean, we're talking films here and we're talking, AI, digital. Have you had a chance to see The Creator yet?
No, but it looked really good.
Very good.
Really
I
good.
think based on your work, Rich, you'll like it. It's
Yeah.
very interesting. So yeah, worth checking out. Now you've sent some images of some really interesting items here, and I want to
Mhm.
pick your brains on this one. So what's this all about?
So I went to Thought Bubble, not this last time that you went, but 2016.
Yeah,
One of the most insanely brilliant times of my life. It was
right.
so cool. I'd never been to a convention like that before. You know, it's sort of thing I'd seen on TV shows and in magazines, that sort of thing online. And to be part of it was crazy. But Mark Hamill was there, which was brilliant. And so I paid to get his autograph. And it's the first time in my life I've sort of met a real sort of someone I looked up to and a hero sort of thing. And I remember being in the queue and I could feel every heartbeat around my body, you know, like all the veins like booming. Like I'd never felt my heart kind of like boom like it had before. And I kind of got in front of him, like, I sort of like mumbled a few things. And then I got him to sign it for my son, which is why it says The Force is with Davey. And I said to him, I don't suppose you can do me a favor, because I'd been at this 4-day Star Wars convention. And I'd left my wife, who'd just had knee surgery, with a new puppy and a 4-year-old. And I said, look, I just feel like a bit of a really shitty husband right now. Can you just write an apology for me? And he did. And he wrote her like a lovely note. He said, marriage is, it's not that easy. It gets better. He signed it, put a heart around it. Would be such a lovely dude, though. Really, really nice guy. And we'd also had this big sort of thing where he was talking about his life in movies and that sort of thing. And he did the Joker speech from The Long Halloween, and it was jaw-dropping. It was so good, and he was in it, and he was just the Joker. It was so good. It was amazing. It's such a great weekend.
I mean, I've never had the pleasure of meeting him, but I've heard lots of stories about how good he is with the fans, you know. So this was Star Wars Celebration, yeah?
Yeah, 2016, yeah.
Did
That's
you go
currently... Oh, no, I didn't go this last year. By the time it kind of got onto my radar, it was like, I take a look for tickets and there's nothing left. It was like, okay. But I've just sent this off to CBCS to get it verified. Well, if it doesn't come back, I don't care. It's fine. But I know what happened. I was there, sort of thing. But I just thought it'd be nice to have this like a piece for my son as well. Like, you know, thankfully he's a big Star Wars fan, so yeah, it's worked out really well.
Very cool, very cool. So you are a Star Wars fan, I take it, because we've got some images later on of different.
Yeah. Do you know what? I'm looking around, like, you know, I thought I'll bring a few bits down, and it's just like, oh God, look at me.
Good stuff. This is tremendous. I'd love to meet Mark. Mark Hamill's one of my bucket lists. Him and I forgot his bloody name. Bruce Campbell. I'd love to meet Bruce Campbell.
I was gutted, actually. I didn't, and I should have forked out to meet Carrie Fisher as well at the time. Like I had like the Leia one of this, and to get them both signed by those guys would have been incredible. And obviously she like passed away a few years later, which was like, I had that opportunity and I just passed it up, and I'm gutted.
Okay, Rich. So moving on, mate. Claim to fame. Have you got any claim to fame? Have you ever met anybody famous or I mean, you're a famous author yourself, but have you ever met anybody that stands out to you?
I tell you quite a cool story. So when I say it's cool, it was absolutely heartbreaking at the time. I told you I used to be in a band, and we went big, but we sold quite a few thousand records and got to travel all around the world. Managed to get on Japanese MTV and this sort of thing.
Right.
And
wow.
Some crazy stuff happened. We got on a soundtrack to a computer game. We wrote the theme song to a TV show, like this sort of thing. Yeah, loads of mad stuff like that. But after we toured for a few years, we got the opportunity to play Download Festival. I don't know if you ever, like a big kind of rock and metal festival. And it's like, this was going to be our big break. So we were ready, got the stage, everything lined up, the van was packed and that sort of thing, ready in anticipation. And like about a week before, we got a call from our manager who said, "Oh, you're not going to believe this, but you're not playing anymore." I was like, "Oh, no, why? What's happened? And he's like, oh, another band's going to have replaced you on the bill. I was like, what the fuck is this going to be?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
same sort of, a slightly bigger band than us. And he's like, oh, who? You won't believe who it is. And he's like, I was like, no, who's going to be? It was Metallica. Metallica had replaced us on the bill.
How dare they?
They'd done a secret. They decided to do a secret show at Dynton at the state on the smaller stage that we were going to be on, and someone had to be replaced. And it was just like, well, that's us.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure people would have rather have seen you, Rich. Do you know what I mean?
That's all I can think. Paul, all of those fans that were desperate to see us had to see Metallica instead.
Yeah. I bet they were kicking off. We don't want Metallica. Okay, mate. So, next, tell me a little bit about this. So, this is digital chapters 2, 3, and 4. Again, stunning work. Again, don't spoil it for people who haven't read it, but just give a bit of a flavour of where the story goes, and then perhaps a little bit about the artwork.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as I mentioned before, you kind of get to the point where they're stuck in space and they've got to make a choice. And issue 2 sees them with like an air leak. So the ship was getting fired on, so they were leaving Earth, and there's an air leak, and they've got to move somewhere. They don't want to go back to Earth, so they go and find another planet to land on. And it's quite a character-driven sort of second issue, but I'd like to keep it fairly light-hearted, fairly humorous, but hopefully what people are looking forward to with each issue now is kind of like quite a big end to the story as well. So, because we can't push this out every month, it's going to be it's a few months in between every single one. We need to make sure people are kind of coming back for it, and so there's some in issues 2 and 3. There's some quite big things. They get captured by some locals who are less than accustomed to them. You get a bit of backstory. You find out about where they come from and what happened with the uprising. How did it become that? And it's really a character piece, but it's set against this backdrop of strangers in an AI apocalypse trying to find themselves. And that's what it is. But people say that the characters they can really engage with, and that's really important.
Absolutely.
Because it isn't about the AI really. That's just a bit of the story. It's about the characters,
and I would add to that, you really do. I got very invested in these characters very quickly on, and I think that's the beauty of the story. The AI is always there in the background, but it's the characters that keep us turning the page. If that makes sense.
That's all I ever wanted, sort of thing. I think this is the thing about writing your own story as well. Like, it's easy to come up with a good idea. It's just how do you make it always engaging? You can probably in a one shot. I think you can probably do it. You can probably bottle lightning, perhaps. But I think the fact that people keep coming back when it's a longer term sort of project is just absolutely mind blowing. The fact that we made one. And I was ready to just stop at one, if I'm honest with you. But people's like, when's the next one coming out? It's like, oh shit, I've got to do another one. But
lots of comments about the stunning artwork there, Rich. And I think, that middle cover is phenomenal. But I am, as I've said to you before, I am absolutely gushing about that third cover. There's Something That's Killing the Humans. My friend Efren, who was on earlier, is a big Something That's Killing the Children fan, so I actually got a copy of that and sent it over to him, and he loves it. So tell us a little bit about the art style and the artists you've been working with.
Yeah, do you know what? I'm really particular about the artists that we get on board. A lot of it, in truth, is just spent trawling Instagram, like literally days, just evenings, just lost trawling Instagram, trying to find the right sort of person. Getting artists is really difficult. So I could have written, the best novella in the entire world, but if you just get someone off the street, just any old person, it's not going to work. Plus, it means if I get good artists involved, that covers over my shitty writing. So, so Zach and I, like I say, we spent forever trying to find someone, and it's a perfect sort of storm of someone who's available, someone who's good enough, and you can afford. And getting all of those things together is so difficult. And actually, in the first issue, Flavio, who's our original artist, he just kind of got on board with us. He did the first issue for free.
Oh, right.
Which was, I didn't realize how like crazy that was to do something. In retrospect, like I feel terrible that no one ever managed to pay him for it. But you know, he was on board with the vision. You know, he got the characters. He knew where he wanted to go, and he just kind of sort of embodied it, which is absolutely fantastic. And he was only able to do the first couple of issues, but you know, he laid the blueprint down. And he's just done work for DC. He's just done like a Batman story for DC. He's just done some work on the new Mortal Kombat game that's just been released. So, you know, I'd like to think we gave him the springboard to a big career.
Absolutely.
But yeah, he's doing great. And then we got Alex in, who's our new artist for 3, and he just sort of picked up the gauntlet. It was already there, and he did such a fantastic job. Like, people notice the difference, but they're not like, oh, it's much worse than it was before. You know, it's just like it just continued, and that was everything that we wanted it to be. But like I say, we found another person who was kind of bought into the vision that we had for it. Like I say, affordable and available, 2 very important things. But you know, I think especially as we move into past that 3rd issue and having that crossover, it's been brilliant. And Alex is really good. But yeah, looking out for variant artists is difficult as well. But
Jack's just asking, same cover artist on every cover and interiors. You have separate artists, don't you?
On the yellow cover, that is Flavio, who's the interior artist. The middle cover there, that's a guy called Don Aguillo. He does Spawn over at Image, and we got him just as he was starting to release his image stuff. So we got him like at a bargain price sort of thing. But he's done a couple of covers for us, and they've both been just phenomenal. The Something's Killing the Humans, actually, that's by Alex, our interior artist. Kind of, he's never read Something's Killing the Children at all, but kind of, I've been after this cover since the first issue, and people were a bit resistant previously. It's like, right, I'm calling the shots on this one. We're definitely on to Something's Killing the Children one, and I think he did an absolutely incredible job. You know, like it's just places one of our. Go on.
I'm saying it's absolutely stunning, and it's I think this is probably one of my favourite covers that you've done, although I have to say there's a cover for issue 5 that pips this just for me, and we'll get onto that in a bit. I'm sure you can guess which one it is. But yeah, it's stunning books made, absolutely stunning.
Thanks very much.
Okay, Rich, so next question for you. Who is your favourite hero? Who's your kind of go-to hero?
It's Spider-Man. Like I said, like it's just one of those characters that I sort of gravitated towards when I was a kid, watching like Transformers and Spider-Man as Amazing Friends. That was kind of like my Saturday morning sort of thing, you know. And that was the first character that I just kind of like, I was obviously very young at the time, but you know, he was a kid being a hero sort of thing, and that's absolutely mind-blowing. To like when you're growing up, I think that's why a lot of people kind of gravitate towards Spider-Man, is that the readers were younger and there was a younger hero, whereas before it's always been, you know, adults being the heroes. But it doesn't have to just be adults. Anyone can be that hero, and that's the important thing.
I think it's because he's relatable, isn't he, for a lot of work. You know, I think you look at your character, I mean, I'm a massive Superman fan, but you look at your kind of your Captain Americas and your Supermans and all the rest of it, who are these godlike creatures, and then you've got nerdy Peter Parker with his glasses and his, you know, his thin frame, and you think, actually that could be me, you know, that kind of thing. So yeah, great choice. Great choice. I do love Spider-Man. He's one of my favourites, to be honest. Deadman's just asking me here, when does the trade come out on digital? We're going to touch on that in a little bit, bud.
Yes, it's funny you should ask that question.
Yeah. Fuzzy is saying he's a real sucker for a homage cover. Me too, Fuzzy. Me and you, mate. You know what I'm like. And I think you'll like the one for issue 5, Fuzzy. We're going to touch on that in a bit. Now, Rich, this has got us intrigued. Tell us a little bit about this.
Right. Okay. So a bit of a long story, so I apologise if I ramble a lot. But I am a huge Saga fan. But this was the first indie that I ever got into. So, like we were saying before, like I just read mainly just Marvel in truth. Like I've tried DC through the years, it just isn't for me. And I've tried. There's some stuff I like. You know, there's the Frank Miller stuff and Watchmen, Neil Gaiman. You know, all those sorts of things are brilliant. But just when I pick up the singles, I just don't gel with it. So I just don't bother anymore. I've tried enough times that it just doesn't work. But my mate Christopher bought me the trade of Saga, the first 5 issues, and it was just as we were parents at the time. Me and my wife just became parents for the first time, and it just sort of sang to me. It's just incredibly written. The art is absolutely stunning, and it's extreme in all the perfect ways. Like you see a lot of stuff. It's very graphic in every way, but the story is just incredible. And it's do you remember it had this like 5-year hiatus, and it came back just like towards the end of the pandemic. And I remember picking up, I think was it issue 50 something, I think it was, and it's just like it's like a comfort blanket, you know. I've missed you, old friend.
Welcoming an old friend back.
Yeah. So anyway, I've been looking out for a number one for a little while, and someone had like a 1 to 30 on eBay, and I've been watching it, but I knew that there was that big crease on it, and it was putting me off, and I wanted like a mint copy so I could get it graded. Anyway, I did a bit of a haggle with the guy who had it, and I got the 1 to 30 for 90 quid, which I thought is pretty good. I know it's not great, but I had some other prints that I could upgrade. The rest of it was all absolutely perfect mint. So, you know, maybe you can get someone to work on it, and it would grade all right in the end. So anyway, I got it graded, the one with the crease in it. It was perfect apart from the crease as well, just to kind of reiterate. Everything else was great on it. And it came back from CGC as a 9.8.
Wow.
Believe it or not. Like
Crikey.
with that crease. Yeah. If you look close enough, it doesn't break the colour. I think that's the thing that's kind of saved it. But it's it looked a real eyesore, but when it had been worked on, it looked great. And I've wanted a signed copy of it for a while, because like these two, you know, it's pretty much the pinnacle for me in terms of like that book that's mine. And I saw the signed book on eBay, and it looked in really good nick, and I'm like, I'm just going to do it, and I'm going to probably regret this, but I've sold my 9.8 so I can fund sending this to CBCS and getting it graded that way and a verified signature. I've just kind of gone balls deep on it. I'm like, let's just do it, see what happens. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But, you know, that'll be an incredible book to own in my collection.
I mean, it's a stunning series. I've heard nothing but positive stuff about it. I can't believe you got a 9.8 with a crease like that. Jack's saying in the comments, maybe it's a printing error, recognised printing error, perhaps.
Not seen any others like it, so I don't know. But yeah, it's definitely, maybe it's like a fault or something. I suppose it could be a fault, but yeah, like
maybe
I said,
you've just got them on the good day. Maybe you say GC on a good day. So did you say you've sent that one off now, or are you waiting for it back?
Waiting for it back now, yeah. It went to CBCS a couple of weeks ago, so it's there waiting. So there's a few of us, because Tim stopped doing the verification, so we've been waiting for something, and then like there's a few of us on the group just going to say, let's just do it. We've got signed books, let's just send them and see what happens. So it's 5 of us who just kind of hoping that it gets there, and I know it's there. I've had the receipt sort of thing, and I've taken the money, of course.
See, I've got a long box full of signed books from Thought Bubble over the years that I need to get graded, and I'm a bit like you're saying, with Tim not doing it anymore, I'm a bit hesitant of who I trust to send the books, you know. There's lots of people commenting on the quality of your drapes, which is nice. Curtains are top notch, which is very nice. GP is saying we need to do digital on the review show. That would be cool. So GP Venom does a comic book review show. So yeah, that would be good fun, mate. We could do certainly a review of the first 5 issues once the trade paperback's out. That would be awesome.
Sounds good to me.
Lots of people commenting on Saga saying how cool that is. Fuzzy, I've always been put off by Saga because of the sheer number of issues. I've heard nothing but good things. Fuzzy, I've got the compendium, and I have to admit, though I'm saying I've heard nothing but good things about it, I've not opened it yet because I've just not. I feel like it's a book, a bit like I did with Invincible. I feel like it's a book where I've got to sit and dedicate. I don't want to read anything else other than that story for a period of time. Do you know what I mean? So I absorb it all, I guess. But yeah, it's I've heard nothing but solid praise for it. So yeah,
honestly, I just knocked it out. I know that you like sitting down and reading.
Yeah,
and it is, we're up to 60 odd issues now, so I can see like how it would put someone off. But honestly, jump in, and I can't think you'd regret it. It's just all I did was just read it every day. And I've barely been like that with anything else. I collect all sorts of stuff, but that was just so engaging. I just had to get the next one, and I was buying it the next trade at the time, sort of thing. So like, there's a few days where I've got withdrawal symptoms.
Yeah. It's funny when a book just hooks you like that, isn't it? And it just sucks you in. I've just done that with Mark Miller's The Magic Order. I picked up the first trade paperback, and I had to just keep getting them because it was just great. Same as what's the one where they're Deadly Class? Don't know if you've read Deadly Class. That's very good as well.
Oh, cool. Well, yeah. There's a lot of that, isn't there, as well? It's just finished, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been finished for a little while, I think. But the volumes that come out are nice hardbacks, so yeah, worth picking up.
Okay, cool.
Okay, Rich. Next challenging question for you. I want to know what pisses you off. I want to know what pushes your buttons and pushes you over the edge. What irritates Rich Watkin?
I'd like to say, as a general rule, not a lot. But people piss me off. Just people.
Yeah, I'm the same. Yeah.
Really fucking annoying. I just. I mean, in truth, if I had to put down, I couldn't put down one thing, but the negative stuff that came from Brexit really pisses me off. Yeah. Like, do you remember those first few months? It was unifying, and it felt like almost like a worldwide community. And then after a while, people kind of started disappearing into these pigeonholes. It's like, where's someone else like me? Oh, I'll come find it. And for a lot of people, that was perfect. Like the comic book community, I think, got so strong because of it. But you then get the kind of the right wing and all these sorts of guys getting together. And I just feel like we live in a very intolerant, we're the most tolerant and most intolerant society we've ever been.
No, I think you're absolutely right, mate. I think you're absolutely right. It feels like we are always on the knife's edge in what you say and do. It's very challenging. I'm interested in this, Rich. So you've obviously published via Kickstarter. What's that process like, and how's that worked out for you?
So the first time we did it, it was kind of just to prove a point. But Kickstarter is an all or nothing funding platform.
Yeah.
So if we didn't raise the money, it didn't get made. And that was the end of it. Yeah. So, but at least I'd given it a shot at that point. And so at least I can look back and go, you did try. It's not one of those things, not one of the many things you said, you'll try it and you never do, but I actually did do it. And it felt like the sort of perfect place to just give it a go.
Yeah.
And if it's not going to work, it's not going to work. But it's been pretty decent so far. It's recognised. I think that was a big thing to do. It's like I could go around cap in hand sort of thing to people and say, give me some money and I'll make a comic book and you can have a copy of it. But people know that there's a bit of security and it's a recognised platform for doing a Kickstarter. Yeah. And it's been a really good way of kind of growing. Like when you look back to issue 1, I think we raised £3,000, I think it was, which was way above what we planned to. And that was mind blowing. But like each time, it's a place that people can go to and they believe in because it's a brand, But also we're going back there as well, and they keep coming back and they keep coming back, and so each time it grows about 20%. So it feels like it's a bigger thing, and it's not diminishing, which is absolutely brilliant. No, that's always the worry. Like you make one and then the second one doesn't get made, sort of thing. But actually, it seems to get a bit bigger every time. to the point where, you know, we funded this last one in 5 days. Like, it's the biggest target we ever had, and it was done in 5 days.
Yeah,
and
that
which was
must tell you
crazy.
something about the strength of the product as well. But do you know what I mean? That if people are willing to jump on it that fast, it's because they know it's a good product.
I think it's a lot about me guilt tripping people into doing it.
Yeah, yeah,
um, yeah, I mean, it's funny. Like, for the sort of 4 or 5 weeks that I run these campaigns, social media's everywhere. You know, like, bump it. You know, like when you do a sales post and you bump it. I'm doing stuff like that on my own post that someone else will see, and I think, right, I'm a bit of a firm believer in, if you throw enough shit, some of it's going to stick. Right, so someone else will see it who didn't see it before, and someone else will tell their mate about that, and that happened, and then it's like a bit of a snowball, really. So getting it going is hard, but once you've got it going, I'm hoping that it's going to kind of carry on as it is. So we've just unlocked the first stretch goal today. Do people know what Kickstarter is? Do I need to go back and explain it a bit more?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think as long as people know where to go and where to get it. I mean, so Kickstarter is, I think it's phenomenal, to be honest. I'm a big believer in supporting self-published work. I love that. I pick up some great reads from Kickstarter, and in fact, some of the big publishers are doing it as well. So I know John Lees, who does one of my favorite books, Sync, through Comics Tribe, I believe it is. They do a lot of Kickstarter stuff as well, you know. So it's legitimate, if you know what I mean. It's a big company. So if people go to www.kickstarter.com, I believe it is, we'll put the link in the description here. Basically, search for Digital Chapter 5. And
if you put Digital 1 to 5 in, it'll come up. Yeah,
and we'll show you some of the
all sorts of technology and stuff there.
We'll show you some of the different tiers. So basically, correct us if I'm wrong, Rich, but basically there are a whole different lines of tiers. So you can get a digital copy of the comic for relatively cheap. I think it's, you know, not a lot of money at all. Yeah. And then it goes right the way down to kind of the far extreme, which is like a retailer pack, or you can get your likeness put in the comic, that kind of stuff, or you can get the different covers. Like I say, we'll touch on this in a bit. But there's basically a level for everybody's pocket, is how I would describe it. You bid on it, not bid, sorry. You say you're going to commit to it. You don't get any money taken out of your account until Rich meets his goal, and at that point, you get money taken out. If you don't reach the goal, you don't pay for anything.
Yeah,
so it's
very
safe.
Finish on the 1st of December, and so nothing will be taken until that point, because people can say they'll do it, and I've seen this before. People drop out as well. So you think you've made so much money, and then all of a sudden it just disappears because people can't afford to do it, and that's fair enough. Yeah. You know, we live in a difficult age, so the fact that people are supporting in any way, you know, even if it's like £1 to say good luck, that's still amazing, and forever thankful for anyone who puts any money towards us helping us do this sort of thing. And if you're at the other end as well, great, because that really helps us out.
So we'll touch on that a little bit later on, so you can see some of the different tiers. I wanted to mention this, Rich, because this got me very jealous, I have to say. What's this all about? How were you at the bloody premiere of Star Wars Last Jedi?
O2 priorities. You know, my wife's really, really good at entering competitions, especially when she knows it's something that I like. And so, you know, just a free thing on a phone, and she got, I think she got a phone call or an email to say, "Oh, you've won tickets to the premiere." I was like, "You what?" "We've won tickets." And they're like, "Oh yeah, you know, there's a big do, and we'll put food and drink on for it." Oh, I won't lie to you, I barely remember the movie. I was
probably for the best, to be fair.
Yeah, it's terrible. But it doesn't matter. But it's so cool. It's the Royal Albert Hall, and it's red. Like, we got to walk up the red carpet where all the movie stars had been, and people were lined everywhere, and they'd done the lights all out in the Royal Albert Hall. Like, it was one of these crazy out of body experiences. I got to meet one of the Praetorian Guards. They were lined up all the way down the red carpet, and you know, we got one of these photos done like you see the celebrities doing outside. So that's cool. And I got to meet Mark Kermode at the end of it. So I was leaving, and it's like, look, it's Mark Kermode. So that's great. But it was weird. Like, the William and Harry were there, and we were singing the national anthem, and see like Simon Pegg was around and Sharon Horgan was around, and we were like, like 10 feet away from the actual stage. So all the actors were there. Sort of, they came on, did a bow and a talk about the movie before it all started. It was just surreal. So cool.
Phenomenal. What an experience to have. Incredible. Fuzzy's just saying here, I'm sure the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle computer game's just been funded on Kickstarter. No different to the Hasbro, Mattel and their crowdfunding. Yeah, absolutely, Fuzzy. Absolutely. Just the same kind of setup, to be honest. Yeah, that's amazing, Rich. Amazing. Okay, mate, let's talk digital a little bit more. So this is issue 5 of digital. Look at that cover. Look at that homage to one of my favourite Avengers covers. Tell a little bit about these. Tell a little bit about issue 5 again without spoilers and what people can expect.
Yeah. So what I've always been a bit wary of is that we've got these characters who we're pushing forwards, but the human race has fallen. How did it get to that point? And this is really what it is. So I've driven these characters to a point, and now we're stepping back a little bit. It's like, this is why they're there and what led to it. And it's all interlinked, like all these different characters are kind of like, they're part of this, the rich tapestry of the story. But there's a character that's been seen in 2 or 3 of the issues now without any explanation whatsoever. So this is the opportunity for the character there. You can see him. He's the guy playing in the Vision pose. A guy called Adam, who's our big bad, and he's the guy who kind of started the fall.
Yeah, I'm excited for this. I can't wait. I've already jumped on it, Rich. I've got the metal cover, I think, coming.
Yes, you do.
A few of the different covers, so looking forward to getting that. Metal covers are a thing that I've not really experienced before until I started getting some of your work and some other bits and bobs, and I've become a little bit obsessed with them. I don't know why. There's just something quite sexy about them.
You know what? Like, before I offered it on Kickstarter, I had no idea what it was. I just seen people offering it. I'm like, I found a printer in America who did it, and I didn't know what I was ordering, but I was like, get me a metal cover. I'll send you the artwork and do it. And they're like, okay, cool. And it arrived. It's like, oh shit! It's actually printed on metal. This is so crazy. But like the shiny kind of nature to it, it's like a step up from foil, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
I did exactly that. I got a one. Again, it was it was a indie publisher did a one, and I ordered it for the metal cover. And when I unboxed it, I felt like an idiot afterwards watching the video because I was like tapping it, going, it is metal. It's actually metal. I don't know what I was expecting. Do you know what I mean? But it's a sheet of metal, It's incredible. Fuzzy's just asking here if we can still pick up issues 1 to 4. You can, Fuzzy. We're going to give you all the details in a couple of minutes, mate. But yes, you absolutely can. And just whilst Fuzzy's prompted us there, don't forget, guys, if you want to win issues 1 to 4, please do check out my past video just a couple of weeks ago where I talked about digital, and in the comments put #digital. In a couple of weeks' time, we'll do a giveaway and we'll select one person who's put #digital in that video description, and give them issues 1 to 4. What I might do actually is hold off, depending on when Rich says issue 5 will be actually out, because what we'll do is we'll add issue 5 to that as well, because I'll have a spare copy in the pack I've got, and we'll send issues 1 to 5. Okay, Rich, favourite YouTuber. So if you were sat at home and you're all going through the YouTubes and all that kind of jazz, this is really for content creators. Normally when I interview people who do their own channels, but is there a channel in particular that you enjoy watching? What kind of stuff normally draws your attention?
Well, I don't mean to blow smoke, but almost exclusively the 2 YouTube channels that I watch / listen to, because I mostly do it when I'm walking my dog. I don't watch most of the shows. I listen to them because and I just kind of like pick out my phone to see what's going on. Is you and Killer Comics?
Yeah, Killer Comics is true. Honestly, Killer Comics, for anyone that doesn't watch,
well, it's just you now, isn't it?
Well, it's just me. Yeah. Yeah, it's improved recently. No, Killer Comic Show is a superb channel. Lots of fun and hijinks in that. So yeah, please do check out the Killer Comic Show, guys. Now, Rich, you sent some other images. Thank you for that. You sent some other images that really tugged on my nostalgia because I was here 2 years ago, maybe.
Oh,
This is Florida. Is this in Florida? The Florida
yeah,
one? Yeah.
absolutely, yeah.
It's just, I mean, that feeling when you just walk into it. So tell the folks at home what this is.
Yeah, so this is Galaxy's Edge in Florida and Disney. And if you're even vaguely interested in Star Wars, it's just mind blowing. It is like being part of Star Wars. It's kitted out. The whole place is a massive area, kitted out. It just feels like you could be on any planet in part of the Star Wars universe, and you get to feel it because the cast members that are there, what they call the employees of Disney, you say stuff like "May the Force be with you," and they'll reply to you, and also with you, sort of thing. And it's just like you can get these little hairs on the back of your neck sitting on, and that Millennium Falcon as well. It's just crazy. It's full size, and it's like the thing you've always wanted to get in. Did you do the Smuggler's Run?
Oh, I did. Yeah.
Yeah, we did it like 3 times, sort of thing, to get going around.
It's just
But like,
obscene.
yeah, and it's one of the best things.
I think for me, Rick, I can't remember because my brain gets muddled. Was it if it's Smuggler's Run or the other one? But the one where to get onto it, you get on the shuttlecraft and you get that kind of experience of the hologram and stuff. And then you go upstairs and it opens out into just that vast Star Destroyer with all of the guards and the stormtroopers and like you say, the cast members are all dressed out in Imperial uniform and they're speaking to you like your rebel scum, and just the experience itself, without even the bloody ride, was phenomenal.
Yeah. I mean, I could have not gone on those things. I'm glad I did. It's Rise of the Resistance.
Rise of the Resistance.
Yeah. But like you say, the cast members, it's like they live and breathe it. So it just feels like it just drags you in all the more so. And it's just an incredible place to be.
Amazing. Little tip for anybody that might be watching that may be going to Disney. Obviously, this place is stunning and you can spend as much time as you possibly can in there. But outside of that little area is the old Star Tours ride, which was the original Star Wars ride. Every time you go on, there's a chance of you getting a different ride or a different experience because there's like multiple different kind of cinema experiences, I guess you'd say. We'll just say that there was no wait for that. We just looped it back and back and back.
It's so underrated. Star Tours is so underrated. Yeah. I love it. Like we're off to the you can call it Euro Disney, then you can tell my age. Disneyland Paris.
I'm Euro Disney.
Yeah. Next week after next sort of thing, we're going for my son's birthday, and I will be doing that just on loop. And sometimes you get it in English, sometimes you get it in French. I don't care. It's ace. It's so good.
Yeah. You know what's happening. Okay, Rich. Couple of questions for you now from the great internet public. This is a great question from Jack. Who's your favourite comic artist and writer?
Okay, comic artist. John Romita Sr.
Wow,
yeah. Just every page that you look in a John Romita book just feels like it just embodies comics to me.
Yeah.
Like it's so classic and classy and everyone's so darn good looking. Yeah. But I think like that. I liked Lee Ditko, and this is probably sacrilege to a lot of people, Spider-Man, but it wasn't until John Romita came on that I feel that Spider-Man really kind of like kicked on. His artwork and that cover for ASM 39, the Goblin Glider, and he's got an all cut. Absolutely love it. But yeah, John Romita, obviously can't work with him now, but he would have been sort of the dream in his heyday to work with. In terms of a writer, I'd have to say, at least now, James Tynion. I don't think he can do very much wrong, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah. Have you
Just
read his recent Dracula?
It's on my list. I'm waiting for it to come through.
Spot on.
Actually, it might have arrived today. In fact,
Spot on.
Yeah. I see that Martin Simmons was doing the art. I was like,
well, he's
that's
at
just
Thorpe as well, isn't he? So he's at
Yeah.
Thorpe, so I'm going to hopefully get some signatures when I'm there. But
I like his signature too.
Yeah, Tinian is stunning. I would recommend as well. It's one that I don't think many people have gone to. I picked it up exactly how you were describing before about, when you start reading and you've got to buy the next volume. I ended up buying all 3 volumes of a series called The Woods.
Oh, yeah.
Great story. Really engaging. Basically, the basic story is a school gets transported to a distant planet. Very engaging. This is a nice question from someone for you, Rich. Why are you just so awesome?
Carefully placed £20 goes a long way.
Good stuff. Okay, mate. So we're coming to near the end now, but I did want to ask you a little bit about these items. What are these? These are from Florida as well, but what are they?
Yeah, I'm guessing you didn't get a chance to do this when you went.
No.
But this was absolutely phenomenal. I got to build my own lightsaber. It was a present from my wife, who I love dearly, of course. But yeah, it was a trip for my 40th, which got a little bit delayed. And she paid for me to go through this. And like I say, those characters are in character, but this was another level above it. I was looking around and everyone's just dressed in their civvies sort of thing, nothing special. But I know, like me, every single person felt like a Jedi at that moment. It didn't matter what you dressed at. The music was there, that slow, rolling music sort of thing, and they were kind of speaking to you in this kind of dreamy sort of way. And I was like, I'm a real Jedi right now. Honestly, anyone gets the opportunity to do, of all the things to do at Galaxy's Edge, like, this was just magic. And I was gutted because my wife and son couldn't come with me. I had to go and do it on my own. And I took pictures, but they were shit. I was carried away watching what was going on with the people, like, telling you what to do, and you make it. You literally like building each part of the lightsaber yourself. And it was a bit in Ahsoka, like one of the last episodes of Ahsoka where they're building a lightsaber. I was like, my son was like,
"That's like that, wasn't it?"
Yeah.
Tremendous. Dead Man, just jumping out there. If you're still on the chat, Sean, you've not spelled digital correctly on the video. We'll pick it out, mate. So go and change the spelling on that, bud. No, we didn't get an opportunity to build that. We're too busy. But we went with another family and they built a droid. I think you could go to the droid workhouse. Yeah, and that's amazing. They loved it. But yeah, stunning stuff. Okay, Rich. If you were to give anybody some advice about, it can be about anything you want. It can be about life in general, or it can be about starting your own comic. Anything. What advice would that be?
My wife's very smart and very wise, and her life kind of adage is, "Don't be a dick."
I love it. Yeah, I love it already.
Not much more to it. Just don't. Treat people right. Treat people how you want to be treated, and that's it. And that's kind of like that's the life lesson to anyone. That's the bit of advice I give to people. Just don't be a dick. Let's all get on.
But the thing is, your wife's obviously very wise, because you should think that would be straightforward and easy, but it doesn't seem that there are so many dicks out there. I have to say, and it does. It's not hard to just be pleasant and polite to people. Even if you don't like them, you can still just smile and move on without being an arsehole, I think that's fantastic advice. Tell your wife she's very, very clever. I like that a lot.
I will. In terms of writing, though, first thing I'd say is, if I can do it, anyone can. That's it. Just do it.
See, I disagree, mate, Rich. I've read your work, mate. I've read your work. You're selling yourself short because you're very talented.
But it was just about doing it. Yeah. And everyone's got ideas. Like I said to you before, like, not one person in the comic book community has never had an idea about even a scene from a comic book. And it's just kind of, just do it. Like, what's really stopping you? You're only stopping yourself. Yeah. And you never want to be that person. Well, like I said, I tried it before and didn't do it. So to do it was a challenge for me, just to say, yeah, I've done one, it's done, right, fine. As I mentioned, people like it, so it's fine, and I've managed to do some more. But even just kind of doing one, and I've tried to help other people with theirs as well. So, just having a bit of a read over the scripts that they're doing, helping people build Kickstarters. I'm not saying I've got the answers for everything.
Yeah.
But if you want to reach out to me and discuss doing it, I can point you in the things that I did.
Yeah.
And there's things that I've learned that I wouldn't never do again. Yeah. But it's a bit of trial and error. And I tend to, we've had to get a new colorist on our latest issue. And I was speaking to him the other day, I said, look, like everything, almost everything with this comic book, I'm winging it the whole time.
Yeah.
But you kind of learn the stuff to stay away from and the stuff to gravitate towards. And, you work it out that way.
Yeah, that's great advice, Rich. And I think, I think people that are watching this on the rewind or whatever, if you want to hit Rich up to get a little bit of advice, I'm sure you wouldn't mind. So that is great. Much appreciated. GP Venom, can't help it. It's just who I I think this is in relation to being a dick. Is that what you're saying, GP? I know you, GP. I know you're not all dick. You're not all dick. Right. Just quickly covering on this. This is stunning. This is chapter 5 of Digital. Now, as we said earlier on, there are all kinds of different backer levels. So you can start off by just donating because you want to support Rich, or you can donate and get you can pledge and get a digital copy of the comic. And then there's a whole host of different tiers with different covers and different kinds of variations of the variant covers and things like that. These are the two I've picked out that I think people might want to jump on. This is the physical catch-up, where you get issues 1 to 5, single issue copies, which is fantastic value, I have to say, at 18 quid. And then you've got the trade paperback version, which is exciting. So I'm going to be picking this up as well, Rich, because I'm a bit of a nerd with my comics. I like to keep my comics nice and clean. So I'll pick the trade paperback up to have a good read through. So these are the two really, I think, accessible ones for people who want to get caught up with the story so far. But then obviously there are the metal covers, and there are the you get your face in the comic on some of the tiers and things like that. Anything you want to mention on some of these different options, Rich?
Yeah, I mean, if you've got all the options available to you, like I've probably gone way overboard. I know I've gone way overboard in the way that I've structured all this. There's so many different tiers, but it's for different people. People have different wants and how they want to collect things. Like you say, some people want the trade paperback, some people want singles. But if you like a lot of the stuff that's available now, you can add on older issues as well. So you don't have to worry about just using this physical catch-up version of it. Yeah. They're added on at the end. So you pick something you like. It's like, oh, I wish I could get that as well. There's actually a section afterwards where you can tack on extra bits here. But the trade paperback I'm really excited about, actually, because it's going to be 1 to 5. That's fine, no problem at all. But it's been optioned to kind of like almost chat through the process, like how we arrived where we were, things that it started off as, things that it mutated towards. And then it's going to have a cover gallery in it, trivia, like all the little Easter eggs and stuff that some are really obvious, all right? So there's, in issue 2, there's a really obvious Aliens reference, and everyone always notices it. It's like asking one of the characters, how did this say hidden? And they say, oh, I mostly came out at night. Mostly, that kind of line from Newton. But there's loads of little things in there as well, like even character names that no one ever gets, some people don't get called their character names. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, actually, Pete, because it's fairly relevant there. So the pilot is called Noose. His real name is Mitchell Peters, but if you turn the name round, Pete Mitchell's from Top Gun, and so he's the pilot.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah.
So just little things like that just make me go, oh, I know very that, you cool.
don't. I love those kind of little Easter eggs as well. So if someone, using me as an example, I've backed I can't remember which one, the one with lots of different covers or whatever. If I want to go back on now, can I add the trade paperback onto that pledge already? Or do
yeah. You can just adjust your pledge on it. Yeah, so you can add and take away. And we added a brand new cover yesterday, yesterday,
Yeah.
because we'd reached £5,000, so we added a brand new cover that we could add on. So very, very kindly, our new colorist, a guy called Dan, he's so appreciative to come onto the project because he kind of believes in it. Like, he's been involved since the beginning. Flavio, our original artist, is his best friend, and he's like going, "I believe this," and this the whole time. He's super excited all the time, which is brilliant. Crazy energy. He's like, "I'm going to do you a cover for free." It's like, cool, that's great. And so he did us 2 different covers, and I was like, well, I'll hold them back just in case we reach a certain funding target. And we've done that, so this is now available as well. So there's all, like I say, all sorts for everyone. If you read digital books, you can read them digitally. If you want a physical book, you want it collected, it's all there. But yeah, you get this chance to be in the book. People quite like this sort of idea, that get a face in it and this sort of thing. And yeah, it's quite cool.
You get a thank you in the book as well on some tiers, don't you? So I know I've had that before, which is really nice.
Everyone gets a thank you. At the end of the day, the book's not going to get made without anyone's support, and it really does mean a lot to do that. So it's just a little thing, but it takes up the back page of the book is always the thank you one, and we're almost getting to the point where we have to spread it onto 2 pages. So it's going to go.
Okay, ladies and gents. So listen, please do head over to Kickstarter and do a search for digital chapters 1 to 5. Pick whatever tier you want, but do pick a tier and support this book, because, like I say, I've read it. It's brilliant. I wouldn't bullshit. I'm quite honest with my reviews. This is a great story. So please do go and check it out and back this book. And how long have I got, Richard? Did you say till December? Did you say?
December the 1st is when it runs out. Yeah, so it's still best part of a month. Going to be at Thought Bubble this weekend. At table K2 in the Bubble Boy Hall, I think it's called. We've got an exclusive as well, like a Thought Bubble exclusive cover we've brought out as well. So that'll be a limited run.
I have to get one of them as well, aren't I?
Yeah. So
put one aside. I'll be coming to get one of them.
Liam, a guy called Liam Redding. He does Redsters on Whatnot. I don't know if you get Whatnot. Yeah, he's kind of actually we were going to I set up a guy to do a cover for us, and he was going to be at Thought Bubble, and he was going to have a chunk, and we were going to have a chunk, and he wasn't able to get the project done in time. So I only found this out on Thursday last week. So I'm like, I was scrambling around trying to find a cover, because we talked about releasing like an exclusive, and Liam is a big backer of digital like yourself, and he'd had a commission done, a digital commission, and it shouldn't have been a digital commission. It should have been an original piece of art, but Alex had misunderstood I'd either not miscommunicated it, or Alex hadn't understood what I'd said, and he did a digital piece of art for him. And I was looking through what I could use, like, do I find a panel I could blow up and use that? And in amongst all the files that I've got was this commission that Liam had done. And I just said, mate, is there any chance we can use this? It's a really ace image. And he's like, yeah, of course you can, no problem at all. And it's like, cool. So in like about 4 or 5 hours, I badged it up and sent it off to the printers, sort of thing. So
fantastic. Yeah. I'll be looking for that then. I'm there on the Sunday, so I'll catch you on the Sunday and get it.
Yeah, definitely.
Rich, that's been really interesting, mate. Thank you so much for spending some time with us. I can't emphasize enough, ladies and gents, please do go check out Digital. It's a great read. And Rich, again, I said it at the start, but hats off to you for actually getting off your backside and producing your own comic book, which is just a phenomenal achievement. So well done for that.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Do you know what? I was going to say to you before, like, you know, we're talking about YouTube channels and stuff and things that you engage with. I always feel like the best YouTube shows are the ones where you feel like you're chatting with mates. You're not engaged, you know, you're listening to it or watching it, but like you like what people are saying. It's like, that's me. That's what I'm thinking as well. And so, you know, you keep putting out, because I love it.
Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. Rich, you are now part of the This Is My Alumni on the massive wall. I'm going to have to start shrinking that image down and getting more put onto it. So nice to see you on that panel. If anybody's wanting to take part in This Is My, please do let us know. We've got quite a few people who are interested. I will get to people in time, but there's always room for more. So if anybody wants to know sorry, if anybody wants to know more about the show or fancies jumping on, please drop us a line on Instagram or on that Gmail address there. Fuzzy's just saying, good luck, Rich. I'll definitely have a look and see what I want. All the very best. Thank you, Fuzzy. Do appreciate that.
Thanks very much.
Just to mention on the channel, a few things coming up. Oh, sorry, that are out now. So I've got my Kiltopia, which was also a Kickstarter. That video is out at the moment. That image in the center there, next big thing, that is the video you're looking for the giveaway, and to have a little look-see at the different bits and bobs we've got with Rich's book. And then we've got Let's Talk Toys, which happened last week, so all your toy news and all the rest of it. And Saturday gone, we did our Saturday Night Live show. So plenty of content if you're interested in that kind of stuff. I just wanted to briefly mention my second channel with James T. Keegan now. So we've set up a horror-themed channel called One Good Scare. Please do go and check that out. We've got a couple of videos on there. We've got our retro review of Trick or Treat, which is superb. Love that movie. Are you a horror movie fan, Rich?
I always used to be. But my wife's not a big horror fan, so I don't really get to watch it too much. But yeah, I've seen you guys have got this going.
See, my wife's the same. She's not a massive fan of horror, but I've started taking her to the cinema to see it, and I kind of get the daggers off her every time it's a bit of a squeamish one, you know. But check out I'll Be Right Back, which is, like I say, our Trick or Treat review. We've got another one out this Friday, which is one of my favourite movies, which is Fright Night. So please do check that out. Lots of interesting stuff. And that's your whack. So thank you very much to everybody that's been watching tonight. It's been really good engagement with the chat. Really do appreciate you all stopping by. Rich, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to seeing you this weekend. Can't believe it's this weekend already. So going to be fun to finally catch up and pick up one of those exclusive covers, no doubt. And that's it. We'll call it a night there. Thank you very much, everybody. Please do check out Kickstarter and Digital. No problem. We'll catch us next time. Bye.
Okay, bye.